Yeah! Wow, studio applause. Welcome back to a brand new episode. It's your favorite podcast with your boys, the Mings, on the Takeaway Table podcast.
Just for everyone who's listening, you guys might hear the applause, but on this table, only me you can hear any of the sound effects that's going on. So we are really in the dark. Like, this brings a whole new meaning to In Your Own World.
Cricket sounds. I love it.
He has to narrate the sounds that he's doing.
I have to.
So we
not,
know what's
you guys,
going on.
Yeah, you guys won't know what's happening. Anyway,
Yeah, oh my
speaking about what's happening, we've got the most happening people in the office with us today at the table.
Okay.
We have the elusive, very exclusive, slightly mysterious
Raj Mahal.
Raj Mahal with us at the table once again.
So, like, why am I mysterious and elusive? Like, what's the...
Look,
Don't-
I
why
just
you
want-
looking
I
at me?
just-
He's
I
the
just
one
want
to
to
give
say
you the
good things about
adjectives.
you.
Okay. I don't know whether mysterious and elusive is a good thing. It might be misinterpreted as...
Okay,
But I'll
if-
take it. It's good if your intention
Okay,
is
you know what?
good.
You know what?
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to give you 3 words to describe yourself. Go.
Okay. Mysterious,
I thought you were
elusive,
gonna
and exclusive. How about that? Let's go
I
with that.
swear you were going to say...
Savage.
I'm a savage.
And then you also...
Classy, bougie, ratchet.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, well, there's 4.
That's enough for
Only
this morning.
3, yeah?
Let's go.
But also introducing to the table a very new voice and face, someone that we've known for many years now. Many years.
Yes.
So why you gotta say that? Anyway, we have with us Sophira Chong. Sophira. So everyone knows Raj. We won't go into detail with Raj. I mean, Raj friggin' he was on the podcast last week, you know.
Yeah.
Raj has coffee leaking.
And I'm a
onto the-
savage.
Okay.
Sorry, I can't stop.
That's
Enough.
crazy.
Enough.
Enough.
You fool.
What are you drinking?
Coffee.
I see.
Sophira recently joined us. When I say us, Blank Slate, which is part of the core conglomeracy.
I don't know what these guys are on this morning.
It's not a
I
word,
turned
by
up
the
in
way.
our-
It sounds real, right?
It sounds good.
turned out the studio and they're like on crack or something. you know.
But Soph recently joined us last month.
Right.
But we've known Soph for like yonks, man.
Okay.
And Soph has been, this voice of reason in
Really?
our lives.
Really?
We'll get there.
We'll find out.
We'll find out. But today at the table, we handpick these panelists for a very specific reason.
Handpicked.
4 of us today at the table. We've all gone through
Forcefully
this.
pushed.
I was like thinking they were sitting at the same table as us earlier.
Specially handcrafted these panelists.
I see.
Some of them.
What are
Some
you
of them
drinking?
go. Today we're talking about what happens when you jump into a world of hurt.
Sorry,
Whether you're on
wait,
the
wait.
receiving end or the giving end.
When you jump into a world of hurt. So this is a voluntary move.
It's more like pushed.
You are sometimes
There we go.
pushed
There we go.
viciously into a world of hurt.
So a bit of background story to how we got to this topic today. Vivian, our producer,
Hurt
was
us.
actually
right.
actually had a couple of topics for us to speak about.
Okay.
And when she said, sorry, let me give you context. I said we need a 3rd or 4th guest on today's podcast.
Okay.
I looked at Raj and said, Raj, you're on the podcast today. Raj said, no, I'm not. I've got work to do. I was already on last week. All right. So Raj said, no, I can't. Very, very seriously, he looked at me and said, I have no time for this. Okay.
That's
Slightly hurt.
I'm sorry, man.
But I'm just gonna continue.
Okay,
I looked at Vivian. Vivian said, "Here are some topics that we can potentially talk about." She gave one topic which we'll talk about in the future podcast. But then the second one that she gave was dealing with hurt and how you hurt people and how people have hurt you. Immediately, at the snap of a finger, Raj looks at me. I can talk about that.
Oh, okay.
Vivian said, "No, Raj, no take backs."
with so much of joy, I said I can talk about that. Like it's so paradoxical. Man.
and
I
you
love
know,
it.
on the opposite end of the table, Sophia was just there. Why are you talking about my life?
Oh,
Hurt
okay.
right now.
Hurt right now. But today we're jumping into a very it's a topic that people don't really want to talk about.
Oh boy.
Right? Because being hurt and dealing hurt is not the most joyous thing that can happen to you.
Yeah.
So have you been hurt before?
To a certain extent, yeah, I would say.
Oh.
Okay. And do you think that extent is more or less than the hurt that you've given others?
What's the net income, net output and input of
the
hurt?
profit and loss.
The ratio,
Yeah, the ratio.
like 16 to 9. It's like,
16 to 9. Now what does that add up
16 to
to?
9.
25?
5, 3, 2,
10
4.1
hurt.
pp.
about there.
You guys all have an issue.
Yeah.
No, but we're all coming to the table with different places, different experiences with dealing hurt and receiving hurt. Some more
Right.
fresh than others.
What kind of hurt are we talking about? Like physical hurt, emotional, mental?
Sexual. Spiritual.
Went there.
You gotta reach for the gonads, you know?
So when you think of the word hurt,
Yeah.
which one comes to mind?
Probably more related to relationship or friendship.
Yeah.
There
So
we
it's
go.
always like emotional,
Maybe
mental.
verbal,
There we
emotional
go.
hurt.
Yeah.
I don't know about the physical. I won't go there.
Yeah, oh.
Sean, what's happening?
Okay, but we are moving on into this whole thing of hurt people, right? Have you all heard about this, you know?
Yeah.
Yep, I
Have you
have.
heard about this, right?
Hurt people hurt people. That's
yeah,
crazy.
Yeah. I hate this
That's crazy.
this
People's
quote
squad.
of the day of all these girls. Then they pose in a bikini and then like hurt people, and that's just hurtful for the eyes. But it's the golden trifecta of hurt: emotional hurt, relationship hurt, friend, family. I lost my trifecta.
Sorry.
But basically, it's interpersonal hurt.
He puts out great concepts
Yeah.
and never follows through.
Yeah,
man.
that's the concept of hurt. You know,
I really like the friend, family.
friend,
one. That was good.
family. Then there's friend, family, friend. And then there's stranger.
For everyone
Are we
who
still
is
talking about the same
completely,
thing?
I'm not sure at this point.
Okay, so I guess the most common form of hurt that people think about the minute you say "Have you been hurt?" is relationships, right? Like that's the first thing your mind goes to, right? Why is it such a big deal? When about this relationship hurt?
Okay, you know what? Okay, to prove that point, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, since you already said that, let's
Okay,
let's
unfortunately.
quickly do an exercise, right?
Right.
When you think of the last time you were hurt, what was
Right.
the context that it was in? So Minghan, you want to start first?
Oh, I can't. My baby just went to hospital. That was really hurtful.
So
Yeah.
so that was hurtful
Yeah.
because it was.
Scary as shit.
So it's emotional hurt,
Emotional hurt. Yeah.
right? And you were
Life-changing hurt.
scared.
Nurses hurt.
Nurses?
Needles hurt.
Not on
Surgeons. Oh yeah, no, that was
the
like
baby.
indirect pseudo hurt. So like when Haley was getting needles, I felt it in my arm, like pseudo hurt. You know,
Okay,
kinda
because
thing.
you love
Yeah.
her so much, then
No,
you.
I hate needles,
Okay.
but I love her too.
But you felt her pain. That's what you're
yes,
trying to say.
hurt.
Okay, Raj. When we think about the last time you were hurt or
Oh,
you
dear.
received or gave out hurt, I already know this answer, but what context was it?
Yeah, it definitely is in terms of relationships as well, but not just romantic relationships,
Right.
but relationships in general.
Yeah.
I
Right,
think
right.
I have been, I don't know whether blessed is the right word, but I've been hurt a lot recently in many different
Recently?
aspects.
Why are you smiling when you say that? Like, it's weird, bro.
No, I'm smiling because I guess maybe it's kind of interesting to see how the 19-year-old or the 20-year-old Raj deals with hurt.
Yep.
And then how I'm dealing with it now.
Okay.
So, well, to put things into context a bit, I recently got out of a 4-year relationship,
Oh
Okay.
dang!
which was very, very unexpected because I didn't know that it was supposed to turn out like this.
You know what they say?
Oh, what would they say?
Third year's the charm, fourth year's the harm.
I've never heard that before, but
Me too.
I'll,
I literally just
I'll
heard
keep
that.
that in mind.
Just heard that.
And I guess I don't want to delve too much into this right now.
Right.
But I can say that I've only ever been in 2 relationships in my whole life.
Right.
And when I broke up with my first girlfriend, when our
Okay.
relationship ended,
Okay.
the way I dealt with it was so severe, so immature, very, very childish. I was very angry at the fact that she broke up with me
Oh.
out of the blue. I started talking shit about her. I'm sorry, I don't know whether I can say like that word on the
okay.
podcast, but please
Can.
censor it
What
out.
word shit?
Yeah, shit. Is that
really
fine?
Can't.
Can we say shit?
Yeah,
Can we say
can.
shit?
Oh,
We
shit.
can? Okay, cool. So
We said it 4 times effectively.
I dealt with it really, really badly in a very immature manner. I was talking shit about her on Twitter.
Twitter.
On Twitter.
Let me hit that up.
Not tweet them. That's the
I was like,
that's
Twitter.
the for different. Yeah. Anyways.
Okay.
Yeah, I was very angry at her. Just like super childish, like, and I think I caused a lot of unnecessary hurt to my partner back then as well.
because you were hurt, you hurt in return.
You know,
It's a very common response. We'll talk about that later.
hurt people, hurt people.
Hurt people,
Right?
hurt people, hurt.
But compared to this relationship that just ended, I guess it came from a point of understanding that this is not what my partner wanted at this point of time. And she needed time and space to discover what she wanted with her
Right,
life. So it came from a
right.
point of understanding instead of a place of like, oh, you don't love me anymore. You ended things because, like you're not interested in me anymore.
Okay.
Like, yeah, you have to understand that to a certain extent, again, hurt people hurt people.
Yes,
Yep,
yes.
yep.
And they might
get
be
it.
going through a certain turmoil in their life in which a relationship is not helping them.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
That's great, dude. I mean, thank you for being honest and transparent with that one.
Hurt, hurt.
But it's also Sophira's turn to answer now. Sophira, when it comes to hurt, what do you What
Sorry.
context?
You can continue later. We'll talk about your feelings.
Oh gosh. Okay.
What was the last time you felt you felt hurt? Whether it's receiving or giving hurt. What was the context of it?
Similar to Raj, but not like
No breakups, yeah.
yeah, no breakups.
Sophira's married, by the way.
Still
guys.
married.
Yeah,
Happy married.
yeah. Natasha didn't know that.
Congrats.
Congrats.
Okay.
Oh, congratulations for knowing. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, probably relationship, friendship, I would say.
You want to drop some names or?
No.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry.
Shucks.
But I guess it's the common like taking advantage of or like not being considerate in like
I'm sure Lynette
the
doesn't
way
mean
things
that.
are.
What?
Wow.
No, just kidding.
Sorry, but no, but like yeah, it's saying
Yeah.
hurtful things. It's disregarding like certain feelings. But the thing with me is that I'm quite a confrontational person, so I can't really hold it in that long.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
I don't like like
Something like
simmering and like making it toxic. So
Okay.
I'll
Yeah,
usually
yeah.
opt to okay,
Yeah,
if I
yeah.
don't feel a certain way, I'll talk to you about
you
it.
gotta suck the poison out.
So
Yeah.
So okay.
Just like,
Oh,
right there and there.
So with Minghan, it was
Love
it was hurt because a loved one was hurt.
Yes, yes.
Raj, it was a direct emotional.
a loved
sort
one
of,
hurt. Yeah.
romantic relationship,
Yeah.
which didn't work out. For you, it was a friendship relationship. For me, I think the last time I was hurt was actually, this is I think something sometimes we forget. It's from our own actions and sort of like
So
expectations.
self-hurt.
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 Not self-harm. This is a completely different thing. We
Yeah.
should talk about it later.
That was a good nib right there. Right?
But I'm talking about, sometimes when you do things to people and then when you reflect and then you realize, oh my goodness, I can't believe I did this. And
Right,
it really, sometimes when you dwell on it, it eats you up inside. And these are the sort of things that like keep you up at night. And yeah, so it's great that we all just kind of shared like the spectrum of how we can be hurt and also deal hurt to others.
I mean, given there are tons more hurt that we're not going to underplay.
Definitely.
Okay, if you guys are hurting in your own way, not to say that your hurt is unreal
Yeah.
or not thing. These are just like the general hurts that people are very used to. Relationships, individual self-hurt, not self-harm.
Self-hurt,
Yeah, it's basically the whole concept of misunderstanding what another person is doing, misunderstanding what you are doing to that person, or misunderstanding what you are doing to yourself. And then that's where the hurt comes.
Yeah,
Basically that.
So
Yeah.
we're not going to dive too much into why people hurt, which is
Okay.
a human thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not for us to kind of jump into.
So what's the world that we're jumping into today?
We're jumping into how to deal
How to deal.
with hurt and when you hurt others. And
Right,
I want to maybe, if we can, to kind of maybe set the stage and say that we don't want to focus too much on how we deal with hurt, because
Right,
as
right.
much as that's important, I think sometimes we are so entitled to play the victim card
Right,
that we
right.
don't realize that we in turn, out of our hurt or even in the situation, have hurt others,
Right,
which I feel
right.
is something that it needs to be talked about, right?
Right, but
'Cause
yeah.
like two hands to clap, and if you are hurt, there's a chance that you will either hurt that person or have already hurt that person.
Yeah, but
So
yeah.
that's what we should talk about.
Even
today.
the victim card is a symptom of hurt.
yeah.
It plays right into the insecurity factor, which is like huge deal. But maybe to draw a metaphor, like how you can go about assessing hurt, right? Is you take it in a very straight up way. If you have a cut, you use a plaster. If you have internal bleeding, you go for surgery, right? That's basically hurt, physical hurt, and and when it comes to dealing with it, that's the first thing you need to do. You need to do your work and in identifying, okay, what kind of hurt is this? Is this a skin deep hurt? Or is this like my internal guts are bleeding hurt?
Yeah.
Because if you try to deal with a ruptured appendix with a band-aid,
Yeah.
you're gonna die.
You gonna die.
And if you open up surgery just for a scratch, that's also causing hurt. That's unnecessary hurt. Like that's
Yeah.
what untrained psychologists or counselors do. So yeah, I mean, when it comes to dealing with hurt, I think a lot of people try to skip right away to like, let's please make it feel better.
Yeah.
Please make it feel
Yeah.
better, and that comes in a mirror of like people jumping from relationship to relationship.
Yeah.
People surrounding themselves with yes people instead of
Yes.
people who say no all the time.
Yeah.
People who jump from friend groups to friend groups. I'm just calling out people that I know physical examples of.
Call names out as well.
Yeah, sure. So one of them is no, I can't do that. But yeah, we the first thing you should do when you're hurt is not to immediately look for the comfort, right? I mean that's human thing to do, but a very important step in dealing with hurt is identifying the hurt. And most of the time in the first stage of the hurt, you have no idea what it is because it's too raw. Emotions are everywhere. You can't think straight, and all you want to do is, Raj, what do you want to do? When the first time when it just happened.
It's always fight or flight, right? Like
Oh, dang.
with hurt. Because I mean, so you mentioned just now that you're a bit more confrontational.
Yeah.
So you're the fight. You want to get to the bottom of this. What's going on?
Probably.
Yeah.
Right. And Raj, which one are you?
I honestly swing between both ends very, very rapidly. I don't know. I hope I'm not like generalizing, but I've noticed between my male friends,
Yeah.
when it comes to a romantic relationship,
Yeah.
the first 1, 2, 3 weeks, we are just like, I do not understand why this is happening.
Yeah. Right.
So, we really just swing from the fight and the flight, like getting very angry and then just want to be alone in a corner
Yes,
kind of
correct,
thing.
correct.
But the first thing that I did personally was to accept the pain, to feel it and not make it want to go away,
Yeah.
because I understand that pain is a very, very real human emotion.
Yeah.
And there is something to learn in pain.
Wow.
So I accepted that. I did not want to suppress it because in my previous relationship, I suppressed it for so long.
Yeah.
And that just delayed the healing
Yeah.
immensely.
Yeah.
And the second thing, and I think a lot of people might be able to relate to this, is that when people hurt us, the first instinct is to always blame ourselves for it. We always say, people hurt us, maybe there's something wrong with me.
Yeah, but you see, that's maybe how you do it. A
maybe,
lot of people, then there's the other side of the coin. If someone hurts you, the normal reaction is, yo, dude, you're messed up.
Yep.
I didn't do anything to deserve this. You messed up. You
Definitely.
messed up.
I
So
think
both
there's
sides of the
two
coin,
sides
right?
of the
Yeah.
coin. Sometimes when people are treated unfairly, and I've noticed this quite often, they'll say, I'm treated unfairly because I deserve to be treated that way. Or there's something wrong that I've done.
Yeah,
Therefore,
right,
whatever
right.
they're doing to me is my fault.
So that's a great part to put it up because you have a more inward blaming
Reflection.
mechanism, right?
Yep.
Reflection is a great way to put it. The negative way to put it is you self-blame, right? Sophira is more of a how do you
Fighter. She's
Let's go.
a fighter.
Yeah, I mean, but because we need all sides of the story, right? Like,
Yeah.
so Sophia, how do you deal like your first reactions to hurt?
Well, I would actually agree with Raj. Like having that moment of reflection is still important, like the first thing, because I feel like you have to be okay with being hurt. Like being hurt is okay, and it's something that you have to go through anyway. If not, if you're trying to just treat it with different things, it's like you mentioned, you go into other solutions that might be very temporary of the moment, but it's not really for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would definitely prefer to have a moment of reflection first. But then there's the thing where if I'm not feeling right, or I feel like, okay, maybe the person needs to know regardless whether it's his fault or my fault. So that there's that like closure.
Yes.
And then you can move on from it. Like it's up to the person how it goes on from there.
Right.
You might end up being friends, you might not. But rather than just dropping it, because I faced that before, like, and I have no idea why, like a friend just fell out.
Right.
And I don't know if she did something, I did something,
probably
but
her.
Right,
there's
Okay.
not gonna say anything, but no
Okay.
conversation,
Yeah.
no, yeah.
Then, I mean, where do you fall between these two areas?
I think depending, it's always context
Yeah.
driven, right? If it's hurt that you receive in regards to someone else, it's always easier to flare up. You always want to protect and defend somebody that you care about, right? So that's why the fight response is very strong when the hurt is not direct hurt, when it's associated hurt to friends, family, someone you care about. But when it comes to your direct self, right? I think maybe if you're not confrontational, even if you're like Soph, sometimes you still need to take a step back and be like, whoa, what's happening? why am I in this position? And then like, of course, there's going to be, you run through like so many different phases, right? The self-blame, then it's the blame on the other person, and then you try to rationalize why this is happening, and then you get angry because like this shouldn't be the way it is. You go into acceptance, and then you apologize, and you want some sort of like a resolution that both sides are happy. And to be fair, sometimes yes, situations are where you can have both a mutual resolution and everything goes back to normal, but a lot of times that never happens, right? And that's when residual hurt escalates and snowflakes into generational hurt. Whoa, I'm just throwing out terms right here.
Yeah, I'm trying to follow it right now, but okay.
But then that hurt becomes something that you keep inside, and yeah, you do have scars from like your fights and everything, but then if it's still there and it still hurts you until today, there's something in that one that you've not gotten past, right?
Yep. So actually, that's quite interesting, Mingyu, because this reminds me of something that we heard during a course recently that we took, where our instructor said people believe that time heals pain, that time will heal all damage internally in our heart or in our mind.
Right.
What do you guys think about that statement?
That's untrue. Straight off the fact, it's almost saying that, if you have a horribly broken bone, like your bone is sticking out your skin.
We're gonna talk about princess after this.
Yeah, I mean emotionally.
So that's always
physically.
that's always the metaphor. Like, I because like the simple way to put it is if time really does heal everything, you need to know that you also have you need to take the proper steps to help time help you.
Yeah.
Because if your bone is broken, it's sticking out your skin, and you just said, don't worry, after a while, I'm sure I'll be fine. Your bone marrow is bleeding into your blood. And after time, you kind of poison your own body more. You might need to chop your leg off.
It's getting very graphic.
Yeah.
Slightly.
So yeah, but because it helps. It helps. People can't visualize this thing until it happens to your own body.
So to talk about that,
Yeah.
Sophira has the perfect story and
Really?
example of
Jeez,
why
like I do?
time is actually not the only factor to heal a situation or something.
I feel like it's a blanket statement. People like to believe, just let it pass. Just let it pass.
Time heals all wounds. No, it doesn't. Time doesn't heal cancer, idiot.
Effort.
Like that's not the case.
I was going to say
Yeah.
effort heals.
Yeah.
Effort and time, not just time.
So
okay?
Sophira has a 3-legged dog. I'm just going to start and end with that.
Where?
Sophira, take it away.
Yeah, I do. She's not hurting anymore, but
She's still alive.
She's still alive.
She's still alive.
Yeah, when you say that, it's
Yeah,
like
sounds
they've
you
gone,
let you let the dog go.
They've left the physical plane.
Yeah.
She's very much alive.
Okay.
Thank you.
She a car hit her about a couple of years ago
Right.
in Cheras or something. So the car hit her and drove off, and she was on the road. Her front leg and her back legs were broken. She couldn't move anywhere. Nobody really came out to help. There was this one like motorcyclist, but he was Malay, so he was a bit like
Didn't
jumping
know what to
around,
do,
don't know what to do. So we got out of the car. We took her straight to the hospital, and they said, "Oh, she needs to get surgery immediately."
Right.
Went through the surgery. And now she's okay.
Now
like
she's
her back
okay.
leg is fine.
Right.
Her front leg is didn't grow properly into the joint, so it's like quite loose.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
point of this story is, sorry, in case y'all
I
were
have a
like,
dog.
yeah, the point is she has a dog. No, the point of this story is that because Sophia made a point earlier on before the podcast that the only way for the dog to have her front leg properly grow back into the joint was if the dog did not move the front leg for 3 months.
Yeah.
And that's impossible because don't talk about humans. Humans are already itchy already, right? Dogs, right? Yeah, of course they're not gonna follow and listen to your 3 month
when you
rule,
break
right?
your arm, your doctor isn't going to just leave it be. Maybe
Yeah.
it'll heal.
So-
you gotta set it back. You gotta bandage it up. You gotta set the stage for healing
correct.
to happen
you need
properly.
to correct things for time to heal things.
Dang, just dropping the truth bombs.
Shit, man, this heavy. Y'all better write some notes in your car, man. Crazy.
Hey,
I'm gonna
elevation.
say that one more time, all right? You need to set the stage for time to heal you.
Church
Oh
right
my goodness. Can we get the keys back on? Sorry, that's just an inside joke for my friends.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that being said, I think back to what Raj said, like time, like I don't think that statement
Yeah.
is all encompassing. Like in some situations, time does heal wounds, but it doesn't heal all wounds.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not also the healthiest way in how you let time take its
Yeah, because
take its
time
place,
can
right?
make hurt fester.
That's true.
And then you get emotional gangrene, which is bitterness.
That's a good one.
Damn, emotional gangrene.
No, because
Sophira's familiar with that one.
you familiar with gangrene?
No.
Okay. So for your guys know, gangrene leads to you having to amputate parts of your body off, right?
Again with the amputation.
Yeah,
Such a good analogy.
At this
because
point,
no,
I have no limbs.
for real, emotional gangrene is the next stage of emotional numbness. You numb it out, then you slowly lose bits and bits of what your natural emotions were.
Okay, so let's put that into context, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about relationships. So Raj,
Okay.
coming out of a relationship,
the
right?
first one, right?
Okay, yeah, the first one, or the current one, right? Depending on how you deal with the hurt you receive now, will very well affect the way you have relationships in the future.
Yep.
Right? Do you agree with that one?
Yep.
So, for example, like what you said when you were 18, 19 years old, when you broke up at that time, what was, okay, we don't have to jump into like super details, but what were some of the things that you feel at now, like at this point, were unhealthy in how you dealt with that pain?
A couple of things. When I was 19, 20, there was a lot of external lashing out, external anger. Exactly like that, but on Twitter, right?
Oh.
I was lashing
Am
out.
I familiar with that platform?
You want to plug your Twitter?
No,
now?
I'm good.
So, there was a lot of blaming other people and not taking a step back, trying to understand and empathize with them to why they made that decision.
Right.
I could not accept the fact that I was not a good partner in that relationship and I do had my shortcomings.
Right.
Comparing that to my recent relationship that ended, I can understand what went right, what went wrong. And
Right.
this was just the acceptance that we were both looking for different things at this point of our lives.
Yeah.
So can I be truly angry at someone if they need to figure out their life?
You
You can't.
That's being angry at being human.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Sophira, what do you think in I guess maybe because it's a very relatable issue, right? When you come out from a relationship, when you are hurt, when you're on the receiving end, of course, you probably have hurt others as well. But when you come out and you feel like you're so hurt and what happens when you don't deal with that hurt? When you jump straight into the next one and you'll be like, oh, I'm just, not me.
Well, jumping on both your analogies, it's pretty much the same as having a bruise or a scratch and continually scratching at it.
Oh my goodness.
Like, it doesn't heal ever.
Ever.
And it's bound to come to a point where you have to face it. If not, you're just like going through this spiral and you never get better as well.
Yeah.
Like you never improve yourself in a way.
Yeah.
Because you just don't want to face it and be like, okay, that's my problem. I have to take it on.
Yeah. I think having the courage to face the hurt head on is something that it really changes who you are as a person. Because if you think about every experience you've ever had in life, there's always a learning. And I think when it comes to hurts, there's always more learnings that you can take out of it. So, for example, right, Raj, you realize that from your previous, this current situation that you're hurt, you realize that there are things that you can and cannot be angry at. Like things out of your control, of course, like don't waste your emotional energy on being angry at something you cannot change. Like how the other person feels or how the other person is navigating their life. Like those are things we cannot handle, right? And would it be a waste of our own emotional energy to be angry about it? I think it is. Of course, there is time to grieve, there's time to be angry, but then how long is too long for that to consume you? Do you have any thoughts on that one?
I think that's the best guideline for the first stage of healing from hurt. Is the hardest thing to deal with is you need to heal your side of the deal. Because no matter what you do, right, you cannot expect that person who hurt you, quote unquote, to make up for it. Because more often than not, they don't even know what they've done to you.
Yeah.
They don't, and worse still, they feel that they did what was right, or hurting you was the right thing to do. There's all kinds of the spectrum here. And the biggest lesson that maybe I personally learned as well is you control what you can control and don't try to control what you can't. Simple as that. It's called, the technical terms of it is called the internal locus of control and the external locus. You can't control the way the world treats you, but you can control the way you treat the world. As simple as that. And the worst expectation you can have is, I want that person to say sorry to me. If not, I'm not going to heal from this hurt.
Yeah.
And that's a very, very horrible thing to say because that just makes it seem as if you are unable to heal unless that happens, which is not under your control. And that's crazy because, I mean, this is also another concept. Forgiveness comes from you, right?
Yeah.
You don't need the other person to be sorry to forgive.
Yeah.
You just need to forgive. And that is it. And that deals with a lot of
Yeah.
the hurt. And most of the time, when like for Raj's situation, when you have grown up, when you have matured a little bit, you start to see things that you can change on your own end first.
Yeah.
And that helps with the hurt because the really mature thing to do is, shucks, I guess that person was feeling that way.
Yeah.
I guess she or he was in a situation that they couldn't control. That's why they did that to me.
Yeah.
But I'm in a place that I can control.
Yeah.
So you know what? I forgive you. You're cool. I gotta deal with my healing. But hey, if you want to stay where you are right now, that's on you. And then that gives a lot of power to your healing process because you don't have to depend on someone to get healed.
Yeah. I like that's a very
I
good
mean,
point.
I'm not going to go into the spiritual realm of things, but I think just as an individual human being, to be able to build, I know people saying building walls is bad, but you need to build that containment center to start healing, what has been hurt from other people. Because the worst thing that can happen is when you start to blame other people for your hurt, the other side of it is, yes, bitterness, number one, insecurity start to fester, and
Yeah.
you potentially start to develop a complex where you ultimately say, I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
And that is so dangerous because that's where the whole hurt people factor starts.
Yeah.
When you believe you do nothing wrong, you believe everyone else can do something wrong. And that's where you become part of the problem.
That's local, man.
So
Local,
yeah,
man.
there's all the dynamics of hurt.
So,
yeah.
what do you? So let's switch up the conversation because we've been talking about the receiving end of hurt,
Okay,
right? Let's
what's
quickly jump
next?
over to what about the times when you hurt people? Again, this is a bit of a
Absolutely.
tricky one because you don't know all the times when your words or
Yeah.
actions may have hurt somebody, right? But when it does come to your attention, when let's say again in the context of friendships, human relations, right? When you have done something to upset your friend or even a partner, right? What do we do? Because I think everyone only knows how to deal when we are the victim, right?
Yeah.
How do you deal when you are the one dishing out the hurt?
I guess in my marriage, for example, I am definitely the more stubborn one.
Nice.
I would say.
Wouldn't have been able to tell.
And so
see.
in the heat of the moment, even if I realize I'm wrong, it's just like,
No,
I
I'm not
can't
backing
say
down.
it for now.
Yeah.
But it's also having to deal with, so you come away from it and you do have that space, which I would say is important. Like, don't rush the
Yes.
process.
Yeah, yeah.
But like, if you do need to take time, take that time. At least going back to the whole reflection thing and realizing, okay, what I've said is not right or it's hurtful. And then at the end of the day, pushing yourself to be the one to say like, okay, this was wrong.
Yeah.
Or like, I'm sorry. But you have, it does take a lot of effort because you do have to
It's a lot of ego and
punch
pride.
yourself
Yeah,
in the
you
gut and
gotta-
be like, stop.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's really difficult, man. Shucks. Shucks. Raj, what do you think about that one?
As a child, when I hurt people or I do something wrong to people, it's their fault for being angry. It's their fault for not being able to have the emotional resilience to not be offended with what I said.
Wow,
That's
I love
Right?
amazing.
That's the mindset.
That's the mindset.
But now looking back, obviously that is
That's crazy.
maybe not such a good thing to
A
do.
bit psychotic,
a bit like if you
Yeah,
think about it.
just, yeah.
But I was actually having a conversation with Caleb recently, who's behind the camera, and
Shout
and
out to Caleb.
Shout out to Caleb, and he told me something that resonated very deeply within me and made me think a lot. He said, when we hurt people, we have to take the responsibility of making it right.
Oh.
We have to do our part in trying to mend the situation
Yeah.
and trying to patch things up. However they respond is
Yeah.
up to them.
Yes,
Yeah,
correct. Yeah.
absolutely.
However they want to heal is up to them. But we have to do our part in making amends. And I think that is something so powerful. As an adult, as a grown-up, and I'm sure most of the people listening here, you guys are transitioning to a new stage of life.
Yeah.
Part of being an adult is to take responsibility.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Come on.
And I think the flip side
What a
goes.
moment.
The flip side definitely
Grow
goes
up,
as well for your choice to forgive the hurter, right? You have to take the first step to say, it's okay. I'm past that hurt. I want to get better. So you do you. So both sides of this initiation, right, only works for the better when you take responsibility for being hurt or you take responsibility for hurting someone.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that is some powerful stuff right there because nobody does this. Just saying, we talk about it like it's as if like it's clear as day, but no one really takes the real steps to do it because
Yeah.
I think it's easier said than done most of the
I
time.
think for everyone right now, when you're listening to this, I'm sure you have been in a recent situation, whether it's with a friend, a sibling, a parent, right, or a coworker, and you've had a conflict, and you walk away from that. And sometimes again, people kind of fall back on the time will heal everything, and then you wait like a day or two, 24 hours, 48 hours, a week, and then you just see that person and you talk about like life as if nothing happened. And that's the usual way. I don't know about maybe Asian culture. That's how we deal with it, right? We fight for our family, and then after that we don't say sorry. We just like next day, hey, you want to eat rice or not? Like we just brush it under the rug.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, it may work for some people, but I think maybe being a generation that's more in tune with our feelings, right? It falls to us to be more responsible again as an adult, right? To take on that responsibility of being accountable with the things that we've said and done. So I think what Soph said just now about how you can argue with somebody. And of course, you definitely need that time away to breathe and think about what you just said and done. And usually it's in those moments of quiet that it hits you that, you know what, maybe what I said didn't really make sense, or maybe that person has a point. You always think about how the other person is thinking about, put yourself in their shoes, right? And maybe your concept of what is right is also their concept of what is right, and it's not fair to justify it and say that you have it wrong. I'm correct, because if that's the case, then everyone's wrong, lah. All right. So let's talk about practical steps.
Oi.
What can we do when it comes to initiating the apology?
I mean, let's take some practical steps of like what you guys have done. Not right away. Obviously, right away is off the table because right away is more of the reactionary phase. What has helped? I mean, Raj might be still going through some of the steps. Just saying, what is a good step to take where you guys are in dealing with hurt?
I feel like as people might not agree with me on this one because they feel like maybe face-to-face apologies are more sincere, which I agree as well. But I realized that when it comes to matters of the heart, writing things down is actually a very, very effective way to communicate. Because when you're talking to somebody, right, and although you have that sort of connection when you speak and you have FaceTime, right, the words that the things that you feel sometimes are just not articulated properly. And then people, maybe if they're judgy or if they're still like kind of festering in that hurt, they may see your lack of proficiency in expressing yourself as a weakness. And so I feel that maybe it is good to meet face to face and speak verbally, but I know that people find it hard, and it's hard to collect and put your thoughts into like a straight line, right? So I would really suggest that if you guys have ever been in a situation similar to this, or are in one, or will be in one, which we all will be, take some time to like write down your thoughts, like point form that shit, right? And then write a letter, write an email, or a text. Because when you speak face to face, right, sometimes that person interjects you lose your train of thought, and you're like, actually, I cannot, because you'll be anxious.
Ideally write it down and have a face to face.
Yeah, if you have to.
Sometimes, because sometimes right, sending a text isn't the best thing to do, because
of course.
you leave a lot of things to interpretation, especially if two people are hurting. You don't know the tone of voice you're talking about. You don't know the manner of how you're expressing the sentence. If you can, highly recommend it. Get your thoughts in line first.
Yes.
Writing it down is always a plus. And then bring yourself to a safe place to be able to meet each other and talk about it.
Yeah.
Most of the time, you might not be able to do it because the other person might not want to reach out at all.
Yeah.
That's only when I feel then you send a text huh?
Yeah.
So,
send a letter.
Yeah, that's
But I feel so not just with friends, right? Use this method with your parents as well, because having that generational gap really affects your communication, especially when you're talking about someone who's older than you and they see you as a child or they see you as that younger person, right? Most of the time, they're just gonna kind of like you. I mean, this works both ways. You will probably brush off what your parents tell you, and you would have preconceived notions of like, they're just gonna shut me down. And the same thing goes for them. They're gonna be like, it's gonna be more excuses. And so that's why I feel like things like writing a letter to your dad or your mom, which sounds dramatic, but believe me, it really works. And I've done that for my own parents as well, actually.
Yeah.
Because they cannot argue with text in front of them. They're not going to say, shut up, or you can't say to them, you're not listening to me, because everything that you want to say is given to them in that form, right? And they have no choice but to read it. And I feel like sometimes that is, it seems outlandish, but it's a really, really good way to convey your feelings to somebody who you have difficulty speaking to.
It's not something new. A lot of people practice this in even in Alcoholics Anonymous groups. You prepare a statement, you prepare a personal testimony, you share it with a group. They have it in family counseling. Especially when some family members don't feel safe to talk about stuff in front of other family members, so they write a letter, and then there's a counselor there, and they read it in their presence. And especially, I think this is highly recommended for Asian cultures, when speaking up against an elder sometimes may be considered disrespectful,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So letters are great, because the best thing that can happen after you write the letter is you read the letter yourself, and then you have that moment of introspection and like, oh crap, what am I talking about? Like, crap, am I the
Sift
one?
out the shit,
Am I really the one being hurt, or have I hurt someone that has caused me to be myself in this position? So writing is a great way. Like, that's why people recommend journaling for people who are healing. I don't know whether you heard of these steps, right? Like, every day write a bit, even though if you don't feel like it. Writing, having notes, having any documentation of your feelings is a great way to physically look at how you're feeling for a while and plan a response.
So, when you hurt Sean, how do you deal with? I mean, how do you guys deal with that one? I mean, of course, when he hurts you as well, but we don't want to hear about that.
Well, taking it outside of just relationship in general, like, I've gotten to a place where I do feel like, okay, I need to talk to the person about it. I won't hesitate that much to do it. Like, and it's not like going into that conversation and being like, I need to justify myself. It's really meeting in the middle and saying your point of view, but being open to understanding what the person has to say as well. But also interesting that you brought up the whole note thing, because I actually really agree with that. Like, if not everybody is comfortable with speaking their mind to somebody else, right? Not everybody. Yeah, exactly. It's not comfortable and it's fine. But writing notes really do help. Like, growing up, especially when I was probably like maybe 11 years old, and certain things, like, I argue with my mom, not happy about it. Maybe like I'm the one who said something hurtful or whatever. And I didn't dare to be like, Mom, I'm sorry. Like, it's just, so I'll wait until she goes to nap. I write like a I'm sorry note or like something else, and then I fold it and then I slip it under her door. And it's more usually most of the time, not just my mom, but like anyone usually feels better after that. You feel like the relationship is strengthened because of that.
Yeah.
And it helps a lot. Like, I've written letters to somebody as well, like, oh, there's a lot that I'm not feeling right, whatever, but I need to get it out first. I feel like if I go into the conversation, maybe I'll be too heated up or too emotional, and the person might be emotional. So just wrote a letter, sent it to the person, and then after that we had a conversation, which felt a lot better. Yeah.
Wow.
Raj, do you write letters?
Not as much as I should be. Because I agree 100% with you guys. The mind is such a fickle thing, right? Sometimes when we start thinking about a problem, we can just catapult into something totally different. Just yesterday, I was thinking about whether I will fall sick or not in my next life. And I started getting stressed out and worried about that. Like it's just like, the mind is just so crazy.
That's an insane self-harm.
Yeah, I know, it's mad. Like, when you're hurting or you're sad or you're upset, really, like, your brain just flies off.
Yeah.
That's
so insane.
Putting things. Yeah, I know, but that's how the mind works.
Yeah.
That's how your mind works.
That's how my mind works.
Right.
I agree. It's a bit crazy.
Right.
But putting things down, writing down what you are thinking and what you are feeling really helps you have a clear mind on your thoughts about any experience you're going through. It really helps us. Such a powerful thing, and it puts things into perspective. as
Right.
well when you write things down. So
That act of
Yeah.
writing stuff down, right, is something people call catharsis, which is a physical outlet to emotion, and it helps because when you do it in a positive manner, like writing it down for reflection, it helps your whole body physically go through as well an output of emotions that you would not normally have. Because when you have pented up emotions of hurt, a very normal thing to do is like, I need to do something else. I need to go out. I need to walk around. And yeah, some people do find release in grocery shopping or retail therapy. But being able to do something like that and religiously doing it every day if you really need to. I know for some people who get heartbroken, they take like years to heal and they do like journals, books and books of journals to heal. It's a very healthy way to deal with emotions because you know objectively what you felt at what day, and you can see the turning points of what triggers you and what doesn't trigger you, so on and so forth. And it's the best exercise to really realize that, hey, you are in control of your own thing. That whole book, all the journals, all the notes you do, there's nothing that the other side is doing for you, but that's all you can do to help. So that's one of a really good way to deal with hurt. Is just I think dealing with it objectively on paper, because everything your mind starts to cook up about your past life, next life, this life.
Yeah.
It's really subjective at that point, because there's so much things swirling around your head, right? That whole dealing process of it. I mean, that is the effort we're talking about. Time helps, not just let it be, and time will take the wheel, right?
Sorry to, because something just
go
came
ahead.
to my mind.
Go ahead.
Like speaking about dealing as well, right? I think people always forget that there is so much power in pain. And what I mean by this, I'll give you two quick stories, right? When I got out of my first relationship, it was like a huge toll on me. It took a really, really big toll on me. But I used all that anger and that despair. Once I accepted it, I used it to improve myself. I said, okay, what do I want to do with my life? I want to start working. I want to learn about digital marketing. And I just
Absolutely.
channeled that despair into something else that I wanted to do with my life.
Yeah.
A second example would be with my father. When he was growing up, he went through so much of pain in terms of his life.
Right.
He did not have much money. He was staying in a very, very small place, second floor of a shop lot. They were always figuring out how to make ends meet. But he slowly made his way through to provide for the family, to provide education for all his sisters. He had 3 sisters.
Wow.
And really the pain that he had to go through to provide for the family, he remembers until today.
Yeah.
And he does not forget that. And I can see this for a fact, is that whenever he sees a child or a family that does not have enough money for education or do not have enough money to put food on the table, he helps them without thinking twice.
Wow.
So that is a kind of pain that you can carry for the rest of your life. You remember how much it hurt you, but you use that as a way to help other people.
Wow, yeah. That's true.
I think this is where people think like, oh, why do you go and see a psychologist? They won't tell you what you don't know. No. This is the process of combing back through every single thing. And really, I think figuring out that a relationship hurt might not have started with a relationship. It might have started with a family issue. Friendship hurt might not have started with a friend. It might have started with mistrust in the public transport when you're a kid. You never know, right? For real, it's really crazy,
I understand what you mean,
things as simple as being lost in the mall
Is
when you were
traumatic,
4 has like effects on you about being lost in life. Some people
Oh,
can't
shit,
deal
so
with it,
true.
right? So
Drew that
like
line.
this kind of hurt, like I think we don't want to go too deep into it. But maybe you can share the whole fact that I do believe in there's power in pain. I mean, both sides of the coin, right?
I mean, look at all the musicians. All
I mean,
those
yeah,
songs,
look at
man.
Taylor Swift
oh my
built a
goodness.
career out of it. I mean, I don't know what you're talking about, right?
Freaking whining, dude.
Yeah, basically, they're going to write really good songs when you get to know them personally and they're real messed up. That's how you know that musician is going to be really good. But I would say that, on the same line, no shade. Like, we love you guys, all our musician friends. It is the fact that I think right before I met Suyen, I did go through one of the most painful relationships I've ever had. And that just woke me up to the fact that, I got so much shit to clean up. I cannot get married like this. I cannot have a life partner like this. I took a good hard look. Yes, I'm not going to lie. The girl that I dated was freaking messed up. But that was the day I realized that I can't help freaking messed up people. but I can help myself. And why the heck did I choose to date a freaking messed up people? Now that was messed up. And when you start to realize that you let some of this hurt into your life, that's the game changer, right? I mean, you dated this person. No one made you, unless it was arranged marriage. No harm on that. But no one made you make
we'll
that
jump
choice.
into that on another topic, actually.
Okay. But yeah, I think once you realize that, number one, did I let this hurt into my life? Why did I let this hurt into my life? How can I not let this hurt into my life? And then how can I grow from it? That is the game changer. Because I think the power in that pain was when I actually met Suyen. My first response wasn't, I want to jump into this relationship now. I'm like, I'm pretty messed up. Let me get back to you. And I don't want to risk spilling my hurt into your life.
Yeah.
And I think that was to me like, oh, shucks, am I getting old? Is this called maturity? Because if I was the younger me, I'm like, yo, this girl pop in. Let's go. Right? Like, no, don't even think. Like,
What?
let's on it today, right?
Today.
Yeah, let's on it today. But the thing is, I think when you are responsible for your hurt, you are responsible to not hurt people as well. And if you are in a situation where you're like, no, I need you, you're broken, I'm broken, we fix each other. Shit me. Sorry, I don't broken people do not fix broken people.
Damn straight, damn straight.
Oh my gosh. You do not broken heart together become one heart. You heard that? You know that stuff on MySpace? And that's the era that we grew up.
MySpace?
Yeah, sorry.
Flashbacks.
Guys,
Whoa.
Friendster?
do not seek healing in a person who is healing. Okay?
Yeah.
You sorry.
That's straight out from blogspot.com.
Blogspot.com. That was Mingboy89 at .blogspot.com. That does not exist, just saying. But yeah, I think for anyone who's on this journey to heal, the first step always starts with take a good look at what you're hurting from. Many times, you might not realize that you caused this hurt into your life. And you might not be able to find an answer because you're always looking to blame someone.
Yeah.
So, let's just take that broken arm. Before you let time take its toll on whatever it is, push everything into a place where it's ready to be healed first.
Yeah.
So you don't potentially grow two elbows. That's all I'm saying.
True.
And you cut off your arm one day.
Again, let's break this down to practical steps before we end the podcast
Let's
today.
do
I think
it.
there's a lot of things that you guys.
That's
I hope there's a lot of things for you guys to take away from.
Pretty sure
from
some of
this
y'all
one.
are just parking beside the road right now, just trying
crying.
to figure out what the podcast is saying.
Okay, so process the hurt. Both sides, whether you're on the receiving end or the giving end. And I think very important here is something that people feel like, myself included, I process a lot of things internally. I don't share with people. But I realize that speaking about it with people, helping to internalize and understand it with someone else actually really, really helps.
Don't suffer in silence.
Don't suffer in silence. Talk to somebody. If you have any friends that you feel that you can trust and share this with, or if not, really go and seek professional help because they are trained to help you sift these things out, whether it's self-hurt or whether it's something that you need to let go. There are so many ways of dealing with it, and you should not be doing this alone, right?
Actually, that was a good sign. For those of y'all whose immediate response is to withdraw, you know that the completion of that move is to talk to people. For people like me, I'm a freaking firework. If I get hurt, I want to respond to it right away. The actual move that I actually need to do is shut up.
Shut up. Yeah.
That's basically the simple way to figure out what to do next.
So I think maybe just to close off today's table talk, maybe we could just give a one-liner of what you feel is important when it comes to dealing with hurt.
Which side of the table are we starting on?
Is that you, Raj?
Okay. Try your best to understand that everyone is hurting. Don't take it too personally.
It's not always about you. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Soph.
Echoing what we just talked about, but basically don't let it simmer. I mean, take your time to heal, to hurt, but also don't suffer in silence. Like try to share it, speak it. Yeah.
For me, it's I think nobody else has the responsibility of moving you out of where you are now, except yourself. You are in charge of your own progression, your own journey. And so that also means that you are in charge of your own hurt and how you get past it. So take what you will with that one.
Yeah, I think we said tons of everything already today, right? We covered as much as we can on the surface. I'll just chime it off at the end like, yo guys, if you guys feel all of this that we talked about, you understand everything, but you still feel that you can't, reach out for professional help. So please, there are tons of counselors, and psychologist centers. I'll probably put a few links, when we're sharing this. Reach out to these people. You don't have to do it alone. And if you feel powerless to do it alone, please, this is a time where if you don't want to go to your family, go to these counselors. They are super trained. They are impartial to your situations and they're not biased. But if you're too scared to go to a center like this, just talk to a friend. So, I hope you guys have I hope you guys have taken something away from this.
It's such a great episode. Sorry, I just like Sendiri cakap great episode.
Dealing with hurt is, I think, a very big deal that actually a very big opportunity our generation actually has. Because our parents had no time to deal with hurt.
No, man.
You
Back
think
to
they
the grind,
can?
dude.
They're like, no, I need to do my 9 to 5. My kids might be dead by the time I get home, but I gotta do my work.
You will feel your kids won't have to feel hurt.
Yeah, they
if
didn't
they
have
did.
time. We actually have the entitlement to feel hurt and to deal with it. And I think it's our responsibility to set a proper foundation for the next generation.
Yeah.
Because it's no longer about us. We're getting freaking old. The kids that are growing up now, they're going to need a whole world of healing, looking at what TikTok is doing to them.
Oh my
But
gosh.
basically,
Speaking about TikTok, quick
okay,
news flash.
sorry.
TikTok has actually been discovered to be giving out information
that was...
from the back end. Some coders actually found out.
Oh, I signed up to TikTok knowing that.
Oh.
Then I deleted my TikTok app.
So, again, do what you will with that information.
Don't hurt yourself.
Before we close the podcast, this is this week's song recommendation. I kind of switched it up as we were talking about the hurt. This one's from Charlie Lim called I Only Tell the Truth.
Oh.
I only tell the truth because I love you.
Oh my goodness, Charlie.
But all my words keep pushing you away.
All right, thank you, Charlie Lim. Check that out. It's on Spotify if you want to listen to that. These guys could not hear me, but Raj was actually on beat. So good job on that one. Guys, I hope you guys took something away from today's Table Talk. If you want more podcasts, check us out on Spotify and YouTube. I don't know why you're not watching this on YouTube. The full facial expressions with the close-ups. It's what you want. Sophira's on it, man. Sophira's on it. Sorry. Follow us on Instagram, and if you want even more content, check out the whole series of shows we've got on the Ming Things Instagram. Is there any final words, my friends?
Yeah, stay safe, stay clean. Stay woke, guys.
Oh, stay woke.
Reach out for help. Don't hurt people. Be a nice person. Be responsible.
Literally TLDR. Raj,
If you guys have any questions or comments, please put it in the self-proclaimed comment section.
That's
if
right.
you're watching it on YouTube.
share with us your own personal story and how you guys deal with hurt and what are things that you feel helps when it comes to healing. So, any final words for your fans? All 6 of them.
Good job.
One of them sitting right here.
Give me a signature song.
Oh my god.
So I can cut that part out.
And any final words? So
Don't hurt. Be happy.
perfect. That's great. Thank you so much for watching and listening, guys. We love you. Wash your bums. See ya.